Welcome back to Entertainment Review Live on Metro TV. It's time for us to introduce our guests for today. Now, when I was, watching the trailer and then reading a little bit about the movie and then all of that, and I noticed that the movie, it is now time for it to be premiered in Ghana. I feel like Ghana every year so. Yes, the Burger movie. And we have the leading roles. The leading characters in their house with us today, our very own multiple award winners. Let me start with the lady. She's a writer, she's a producer, she's an entrepreneur, she is an amazing actress. Shall we welcome Lydia Forson?
I feel like I was caught doing something bad. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. It's good to be here.
Great.
You know, she's been our style inspiration before.
Yes,
as well.
really?
Yes.
So you say nice things?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, then
So you're home. Welcome home.
I'm excited.
Right. And our male guest, he's no stranger to Entertainment Review. This is his second time being here. He is a multiple award-winning actor. People, usually call him Pusher. And I'm a boy. People still do call you Pusher. I am
I'm fine.
Welcome, Adjetey, Anang.
Thank you.
This is
Thank you for
Entertainment.
having me.
Welcome once again.
Yeah.
You're welcome again.
Thank you.
How
Thank
are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm good.
Right.
Yeah.
So we are here to talk about Boga.
Right.
Thank you.
I want to ask my first question. Is there a song in?
Yeah.
Is it in?
Yeah,
Wow. Hi.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But before we start, we are here to talk about Boga. But then this is my first time. This is my second time meeting Lydia.
Really?
The first time I was a PA on an interview where you came.
Oh, okay.
And
Was it a nice experience?
Oh yeah, it was. For the first time, it was. But then I listen to you a lot. I
thank
see
you.
everything that you do, and you have different perspective on so many things. And you've lived in the US. You came back to staying in Kumasi a bit.
I schooled in Kumasi.
You schooled in Kumasi, and you growing up you were in US.
Yes.
And then Akosomo International.
You've dug
Homework.
because I know it's Lydia Forson. I just want to know your perspective. How do you appreciate life? How do you appreciate the experience you've had over the years?
I always acknowledge the privilege of the life that I've lived. Living around the world, not around the world. But just living around and, the kind of family I grew up in, the interactions I've had with people, there have been challenges, but I always see it as a privilege because not many people have been able to travel to the places that I've traveled to or experience the things that I've experienced. And it also gives me a very different perspective, on life. I'm the kind of person when you have a conversation with, when everybody is going left, I'll probably be like, wow. So I always, acknowledge my privilege and I bring that into almost every interaction that I have and everything that I do.
Yeah, and coming from a religious background,
Yes.
Growing up, what were some of the principles embedded in you? Growing up, what were the principles that daddy and mommy instilled in Lydia?
People are always shocked when I say this, that a huge part of who I am is because of the religious home that I was brought in. My principles mean very, very a lot to me. But my parents were also very liberal. My father is the kind of person who will give you freedom, and he will say, even God gave us free will, so that when we choose to come to Him, it is not through coercion. So I had a lot of freedom, growing up, and it's why my parents are very supportive of my career. But it's also why I'm very, and that's why maybe Adjetey and I connect because if it's 7 o'clock, it's 7 o'clock. My time is very important to me.
Yeah.
My work is very important to me. How I treat people, I have an internal battle with myself all the time because I look at people, I'm like, I don't know how people are so comfortable, every morning doing broadcast messages with religious quotations, and then, the next minute, they are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always say, if people were living according to, their principles, from whatever religious background they're coming from, I think we would not be where we are here as a country. So doesn't mean I don't make mistakes, but like if I run a red light, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get in trouble. But people run red light, like, right from church, you're like, ooh, let me just run it.
We're on you, be
So,
that.
so it's played a huge role in the kind of, person, how I treat people, where I'm coming from, again, from my religious background, I don't have it in me to judge people. I believe that God is love, and God loves each and every one of us, regardless of our journey. I don't try to interfere in people's journey. I always tell people that you'll be looking at someone and saying, this person is, and they are this, they are that.
Yeah.
And then they'll be progressing, and you're wondering why. Like, you don't know the conversations they have with God.
Yeah. I mean, you are just living your principles. You are just living your
trying.
life. You try.
Don't hold me.
But when you see Lydia Forson from afar, somebody will say that Lydia is a very assertive woman. You are an activist as well. I want to understand how you think, especially looking at the society where we live in. Sometimes we are trained not to really say much about things that are going on. But no, not Lydia. When she sees it, she's going to say it. I want to understand what comes to mind, especially when you see something going on and you're like, no, why should I even talk about this? Why should I share my opinion?
Yeah.
You know what? The truth is, like, one, I don't like to trend.
Really?
Look, let me tell you something.
Today's date is.
I don't. I'll be with my mom, right? And my mom would like, someone said that, you wrote something. Well, I'm sitting here with you, and like, there's nothing that shows that, you've.
Why yes?
No, it's not that. You see, I'm always shocked. I've never paid anybody for PR or anything ever. Like when I come online and I'm trained, I'm like, what did I say? Because I feel like everybody is having a conversation, and then I join in, and then why do people care about my opinion?
Yeah.
I don't really think too deeply about these things. If anything at all, I'm very, over the years, cautious about the things that I say.
Right.
Because I never want to be someone who, like, becomes an authority on everything.
Yeah.
That's just not who I am. But I again, as I grow, I'm very grateful to my family and my parents, because my father always tell you that, when I was probably 5, 6, sit here, I'll be like, but Daddy, why should I sit here?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's how it should be. You shouldn't, I was not raised in a home where I would just follow.
Right.
So then my parents trust me. They trust the decisions I make because of how they raised me. There's a very lovely woman in here that I love, who I feel has the same type of mind as I am. But yeah, that's really that. And I'm shocked that not enough people are like that.
Yeah.
Because like when you see something wrong, it is your job. Like you cannot see someone burning and then just walk past. Like even if you're my enemy, I'll most likely send a bucket of water to you. I'll still never talk to you. But I'll send, a bucket of water to you. But like, maybe I'm special. I don't know. Or I'm just crazy. I don't know. I really don't know. When I find the answer, I'll come and tell you.
Okay, great. Adjetey.
Yeah.
So, looking at your expertise in the movie industry, you've been acting for so many years. I want to find out, before you land a role, in your recent projects or movies and all, before you land a role, are you like, do you go for auditioning or you're called? Like, how is it like now? Because I know that, before when you were young, I mean, you would have to do a lot of auditioning and all of that. But right now, is it like, okay, you are there and then somebody will just call you, I just say, I think you are fit for this role, like that kind of thing. How is it like now?
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking of now, I mean, in recent times, it's more of the phone calls, even though every now and then you get to do an audition. It also depends on where the production is coming from. Maybe it's mostly an international project, and so they would want to, even if they've earmarked you, they still want you on camera because it's one thing, I want this person, but then for the particular role and what they're looking out for, they need to catch you on camera to see whether we can confirm that he is the one or not.
Okay.
And so I do auditions sometimes.
Okay.
And sometimes too, there are a number of characters that the director is not setting on. And so, okay, look at these 2 characters or 3 characters who want to catch you on camera, and then they make their minds. So yeah, I do auditions.
Okay.
But as you said, in recent times, it's more like, okay, a call, we have
yeah.
a role for you.
Yeah.
So that's how it's been. Yeah.
Okay.
But have
So-
you? Okay.
Right. Okay, sorry about that. So I know that this is not the first time that you and Lydia are leading roles in a movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
In this movie, in this Burger movie, a husband and wife, correct?
That's right.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us, how is it like acting with Lydia Forson?
Oh my goodness. it's what I guess every actor dreams of, to act alongside somebody who would push you and push you not literally, but because she comes prepared and she knows her character, and therefore if she's bringing on her A game, you'll be seeing it. Easy to spot that. Okay, this guy's not backing up. So anytime I'm getting ready to face her, as in play alongside her, it's an extra work being done behind the scenes.
So she challenges you.
She does.
No, it's
She's a superwoman.
She will tell you I
Totally
do, but
The opposite.
totally the other way around.
but I guess that it's a two-way thing. It's a mutual thing. That's how come we gel so much,
Right.
when we're given roles. And we played, even though similar, sometimes very different roles as well. But every time, there's something that takes us, and it's just smooth. And we don't have to say what the comments that we get from the directors and all around, tells us that, look, this is a good click, and we've been doing it for quite a while.
It's even with this movie, we didn't know we were going to start together.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
We
No,
didn't know.
No.
I did the audition. He did the audition separately.
Yeah.
We only found out, I think, when we went
The
for
table read.
at the table read.
That's
I was
right.
like, oh, great. Yeah, it's just a coincidence
Yeah.
sometimes. But
Wow.
yeah, Adjetey, he is probably one of the most amazing actors, if not just in Ghana, in the world, because he doesn't. I tell him all the time. I always get emotional when I talk about it because he has taught me so much as an actor. Because no matter how good you are, if you don't have the opportunity to work with someone who is good, you feel yourself, going down. But when you work with such a phenomenal actor, you're forced to Adjetey will know all his lines before, he gets there. So I'm like, oh my goodness, But he's taught me so much about being a good actor.
Adjetey, I
Yeah.
wanted to find out, have you ever rejected a script before? And what role would you say, no, I'm never going to act this role? I'm not.
I'm not quick to say I'm never going to act a particular role. That's not me. Because there are things that I'm looking out for. And so, for example, but of course I've auditioned. I've rejected scripts. So let me give you a typical example. Way back somewhere because that sticks pretty much. Somewhere around early 2000s, there was a script that came my way, or late 90s rather, called Danny. And the subject was on homosexuality. Now, this was at the time where, people were not that liberal, were not, forgiving, and we were a bit sensitive. In sometimes I'd say in a hypocritical way, kakra, but we're learning, because of our traditions, our customs, and who we are. It's difficult to accept certain things. But now here's the story, and I'm supposed to play a character. I mean, look, somebody has to play the thief, to send a message out there like, look, there are these kind of guys in our societies. We worry of them, look out for them. And so by living that character, I'm sending a message out there. So I don't care playing the homosexual guy, as long as what is the message, and I couldn't see the guy couldn't position himself. It was like, oh, this would make a good. It's a sensitive subject. It's a good one. Let me throw out there. People would want to come and watch my money. But what is your focus? And he was not able to tell me. And I didn't want to be a part of a story that the director himself, he doesn't know where he stands or what he's trying to, I need a focus so that in my, character analysis, we're aligned. Otherwise, then your vision is somewhere else, which you're not disclosed, and I'm totally looking at something, and then you realize that the whole story package is, so my issue is not the subject, but then where are we going with this, So that for me has been
Would you
my
play
guide.
that role again with a director who has focus and the storyline is clear? Would you play?
Yeah, I would consider that.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm an actor.
Interesting.
I mean, so
I see you that.
you consider a script similar to Pusher?
Yeah, I mostly ran away from that because people tag me.
But it was to be a stereotypical.
Yeah.
But
okay.
we'll see. I mean, if it's slightly different, not for the
Something
same.
like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so normally, if you know you are playing the character together, a role together, do you align your schedule to meet so that you get time to read your lines together?
Have I done that before?
Hey,
Only on set.
Yes, they're
Only on
full.
set.
I'm always just happy because I know his wife is gonna bring sandwiches. I'm like, yes, there's gonna be lunch. But we do have conversations. But I mean, again, that's the great thing about working with someone who's so good at what he does. Any other person, you become, nervous. So there are days when, to be very honest, I get a script. And I've not read it, but just because I've heard Adjetey has said yes, I'm like, okay, I trust his judgment.
Right.
So it should be good.
Right.
Okay, so I'll move straight to Boga. And Lydia, I'll come to you because you said this movie has inspired you a lot in an interview. You said that it's inspired you and also made you
I have
sad.
to just be careful. Digging.
You said that it's inspired you and also made you sad. The scenes that we are yet to see, you experienced it firsthand. Where the movie was shot and everything, you took inspiration from it. If Lydia had the opportunity to act with your mind, with your power, what would you do?
In regards to, where the films were shot.
Yes.
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, filming in Agbogboloshi, it's just sad, and I'm disappointed even in myself that in all my activism, there's a whole community here that has been completely neglected. But then it's complicated because whilst they are underprivileged, they are also amazing. They are brilliant, hardworking. It's easy to point to people like that and say that, oh, they are just, bottom of the barrel, but they're strong, hardworking, full of love. They do some of the things we do on a daily, but then they don't have the opportunities that we get. And I'm not one to always go into a community and break it down because we are different people. But I would love if I had, the magic, power to give them, the same, level
That others have.
Do you understand? So that you're allowed to be in your community and do the things that you're comfortable with, but we will give you access to, it's like when it comes to education, you cannot compare someone who's going to an international school to someone who is going to a government school. I mean, that's just the reality. We pretend it's not there, but it is, because when people are even being posted on national service, they are being posted to communities where some of the national service people are not even teachers themselves. They are just being posted there. So they are just trying. But then the privileged schools always get, the best. So if I can go on and on about these things, but I believe in a world, in a society where everybody has access to the basic amenities. So we all get to start from here. And of course, as life goes on through our own, hard work and stuff, people are able to get to the top, and some people, stay at the bottom. But it's important for me that everybody has access to the basic things in life, like, accommodation and water and electricity, all the basic things. If I could change anything, that is what I would do.
Wow.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Boga is all about what, Adjetey? Yeah, I don't want to
Boga?
go back to Lydia, but Lydia was saying.
No, Boga is all about Boga. I mean, it's yeah. I know that this word meant a lot to people in that era when Boga, having going uptown,
Yeah.
coming back with. I mean, the image that we get is this with the chains,
Yeah.
Bling,
with
bling.
the bling
The
bling.
walking even changes.
There you go. The accent comes on and all that. But the whole idea is that a young man leaves the shores of this country and goes to Europe, and his experiences, his journey, and how we also, in a way, indirectly contribute to his experience, and then finding his way back to connect to his roots, and there are always challenges with that. But for me, it's something that we can all relate to. Even if you've not had the opportunity to travel beyond the shores of this country, you can relate to, because we all, in one way or the other, have a friend, a sibling, relative out there, and we know, you know what happens. I remember my uncle when he went to the U.S. For me, I don't know how he makes his daily bread. All I know is he's made it because he's in the US.
US, yeah.
And so each day I'm looking out for, I'm watching TV, I'm like, hey, this thing. Then I'll tell my uncle, okay, I want the new release of Backstreet Boys CD. I want the full album. I don't even care how much it costs. Of course, later on, I get to know that he's doing 2-3 jobs before he can pay his light bill. And I don't know. But he's in the US. He's Boga.
Yeah,
so
he's a
he
Boga.
must be able to buy. And what we think of those people who are not able to send us money, or they come back and they don't have. There's so much pressure. There's so much on these folks that sometimes they have to lie or not tell us the truth of what they're really going through. But once again, when in an era where we're being exposed to some of these truths, and but it's still there, and his the racism and all that is rife out there. It's a whole new
Okay.
Yeah, this one is to Lydia. Things are quite tough in the country.
Are they?
And yes, I mean, people are
I did
constantly
not know.
people are constantly complaining on social media how things are tough and how people want to travel outside the country. Does this movie seek to dissuade people from, traveling outside the country? Looking at
I
how
think
Adjetey is saying it,
with,
yeah.
with this movie, it doesn't necessarily seek to dissuade people. What I love about this movie and the message it sends is it's neither here nor there. It's about you, your character.
Okay.
Because I get it, things are hard, and even I on occasion you want to get out of this country.
Yeah.
And I said this, when we premiered in Germany, that it is about you as an individual and your character. You can have all the opportunities in the world and you would still fail. And then you can be in a place where there are no opportunities and you will make it. So whilst opportunities are important, what I love about this film is it doesn't necessarily just focus on, people running out of the country. It focuses on life both here and abroad, the good, the bad, and the ugly, And it's for people to appreciate, all of these, layers. We shot in Agbogbloshie, but then we shot scenes in,
Germany.
some, plush places in Accra as well. Then we shot, in places in Germany that were not so, developed, and places that were developed. So you see all the, many layers of it, and you understand that it's not as black and white. So whenever we have these conversations, it's easy to limit it to it's either or, but there's always a gray, area.
Right. Okay, so you remember the introduction that I made, that the movie has, gone around and it is now coming together and all of that. So it premiered in Germany, and then, being to the film festival, Los Angeles, and all
Yeah.
screening at the film festival,
Yeah.
Los Angeles. I mean, the premiere, how was the response?
In Germany, it was, what did I tell you when I called you?
I mean, you kind of were I couldn't hear you because
Adjetey, you should have been here. Unfortunately,
Oh, he
Adjetey,
wasn't there.
He was working in that. He was. I think you had traveled to the US or something, so you
I
couldn't
was
be
on a
there.
project, yeah.
But these are the kind of things you dream of as an actor. You know, I in all honesty, when I went to Germany for the premiere, I really was just going, well, hey, me, I'm just got free tickets. I'm just happy to be included. You know, but when you get there and you have, you know, such staunch film critic, you know, stand up and, you know, clap, and they're centered on, because you're feeling like, well, my character, do anybody even remember, you know, my character? And they do, and the kinds of conversations they had, I mean, it was just such a humbling, you know, feeling. So when I came back, I was like, hey, Charlie, like the movie.
They be.
No, it was really, really, you know, exciting to have a Ghanaian film also in German cinemas, not just, you know, because we travel to these countries and we premiere our films, but we don't always have the opportunities to have them in cinemas. But to have them, you know, it was not just another film in cinemas. It was great with some amazing, you know, actors, you know, Christiane Paul, she's one of the biggest actors in Germany. She's an Emmy-winning, you know, actress. I mean, Eugene, very popular dancer. This was also his first major film. He became the first Black person to win one of the biggest awards in Germany as well through this film. So this film has gone to places when we filmed, we didn't even know, you know, it would go. Yeah.
And now it's home.
Yeah.
And it's
Thank
home.
God it's finally home.
Finally home.
So we have to go out
Oh, yeah.
All out.
and watch
Yes.
on the 24th
Yes.
of June.
Yes.
That's right.
Nana help me
The
there.
pressure you
If
two
I
are
movie-
giving, I have to now look for what I'm wearing. Because I'm like,
Okay, so the premiere is happening on
Yes.
the 24th
On the
of
24th.
June. Okay, so tell us about it. What should fans expect and all that?
Oh, what should they expect? I mean,
Yeah, what should they expect?
good movie. And what also excites me is the medium of communication. It's our language.
Yeah.
I think there's three.
yes, we speak three or
speak
I
all
speak,
three.
or you speak Ghana?
No, I
At some
don't
point.
speak. Do I?
At some point, I speak Ghana.
Yeah,
we speak
I
three
think we
all
mix-
throughout.
Yeah, I think I do.
But yeah,
speak
so it's for
throughout.
everybody. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we have different languages, but
That's
mostly, you know, all the Ghanaian languages,
Yeah.
all the.
Represented,
So
yeah.
the scripts were in three. Or you had to
No.
translate.
No, it was in English,
English
and then we
and
had
we
to
did the
translate. We had resource people on
Yeah.
set,
Wow.
That's right.
making sure that, you know, whatever line you say,
Yeah.
if you it means what you say. Yeah,
right.
so it was all in
Yeah.
But did you have the opportunity to be freestyling while speaking the tree? Because, you know, local language
Yeah,
is
yeah,
ours,
yeah.
so...
No, of course. But, you know, with a resource person, you know, they will ask, the director is also very flexible. I'll be like, well, it's kind of hard to say this
Let's say that.
in my language. How will we do it?
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
Okay, so the trailer is in... Let's kind of watch the trailer.
Okay.
Kojo. Obiara wɔ ne position. Nti sɛ yɛyɛ ne yie a, bia bɛyɛ fine.
To MB and dreams.
Said about me.
Hwɛ
What are you, Mama, from work? I never been. I work from you. I never been.
Winkwa na wobɛnya no. Winkwa.
Willst du wirklich alles machen?
Egal, was du tust, tust für deine Familie. Wo nimm nie ntia obeboy. Pese me boam. Wrong. If you say you was said here. Okay.
Okay, so that was the trailer for the movie Boga. So, I mean,
you know,
most of the actors
Lydia
are
was
going to be
saying that it
present.
took 10 years to
No, to-
actually you bring all this
I mean,
up.
from development,
Development
you know,
and all
a
that.
lot of research
Wow.
to, you know, Yeah.
Yeah.
And this movie survived COVID, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it survived.
2018.
Yeah, we filmed in
Yeah.
2018. Yeah.
Wow. I can't wait to watch it. Like
We have to.
And we
we
look
have to
nothing
be-
like this. I mean,
yeah,
they-
very.
Yeah.
we started off very young.
That's right.
And I
We're
think
aged.
we're aged to like our 60s or
Yeah.
something.
Wow.
Wow.
Really?
I mean, you want to see Lydia at 60.
Very sexy.
Okay, so tickets and everything.
Yeah, tickets at Silverbird Cinemas. 2 showings, 7:30 and 9:30, both at Accra Mall and West Hills Mall.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
West Hills Mall.
pretty
It's
much.
going for
So
50
where,
cities.
where are the stars going to be? I mean, those that want to get autographs and all that. Is it at a West Hills? or
Red
the
carpet.
Cinemas? Yeah.
It's not been definite, but
I mean, I know that in the past they've tried to. We've done that before, where
go to West. and
we
then-
went both places.
Yeah.
Traffic doesn't always help, but
Yeah.
I think we'll start off with the Accra
Accra.
Mall
Okay.
and see about West Hills Mall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should try and figure out something. for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So how much is the ticket?
50 cities.
Oh, very affordable.
Yeah.
We'll be there. Yes.
So you have to be there.
You.
Those of people who say, "Oh, the Ghana industry, the Ghana." Okay, you brought
Yes,
it.
we brought it.
Come and watch.
You watch.
But you
We'll
know,
go.
like you guys are giving us back to back
Back to back.
like
Oh.
releasing.
So the industry is not really dead. Like,
It has never died.
Yes,
It has
never.
never
Yeah.
died. It was on crutches a bit, but then
It's totally
it's still walking.
Yeah. I mean, 50 cities, everyone can, because even
Yeah.
normal Silverbird movie is 60.
60
And this one is
cities. Yeah,
50. So,
50.
Exactly.
And I always say that if you watch on the first day, you watch though. You can tell a friend to tell a friend to go and watch the other days because it's
Yeah.
not only on
Yeah.
24th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I keep saying.
be showing.
That- yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, this is how intentional we have to be about promoting our industry.
Industry,
You know,
yeah.
Right.
you tell people, even being on a show like this, it all ties in and helps. So
Yeah.
thank you very
Yeah.
much for that.
thank you
So
very
24th.
much.
24th
Yeah.
June.
Yeah, 24.
I think it's time for us to
Silverbird
wrap up,
and
right?
then yes,
Yeah.
yes, and the West Hills Mall. Okay.
I know we will go to Silverbird, but Harriet West Hill.
Yeah,
She's
she'll go
in
to West
Kasoa.
Hills.
Listen, I used to live in my 11, so because of you, never
Can
know. I might
relate.
even show up.
Yeah,
there.
Okay, Lydia and Adjetey, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you.
with
I've
us.
had such a wonderful
you.
time. I'm very, about interviews, but
I know.
Yeah,
like-
We were, honestly,
yes.
we were scared. We said that before we go.
Truthfully speaking,
We
I was
were
also
scared.
I was literally not okay. The
our
makeup
head was
artist came in
aching.
and said, are you okay? I wasn't fine, no. Like in my heart.
imagine, we are both scared of each other. But I've had
It's
fun.
so
Thank
much
Yeah,
you.
it's been
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being here.
Thank you for
Adjetey.
having
Thank you.
us.
And then we hope
Thank
to
you.
have you here.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
now I know I'm home. So.
Yes, you are. Okay, guys, thank you so much for sticking and staying with us right here on Entertainment's Review. My name is Adjetey Akumia, and I did this with.
I am Harriet Addy.
And I'm Nanaya Tano Obwach.